Representing the Armenian National Committee of America, Stephen Mesrobian, a graduate of the University of Rhode Island and Director of Research and Development at Covidian, also serves as Chairman of the ANCA's Eastern Board, as well as a member of the ANCA National Board. Stephen, please.
Your Eminence, Reverend clergy, honored guests, host committee, friends, family, we gather today worldwide with people of good conscience to commemorate the 101st anniversary of the Armenian Genocide and pay tribute to our holy martyrs, the 1.5 million souls who lost their lives at the hands of the Young Turks and the Ottoman Empire. Thank you for allowing me to stand with you today, as both a representative of the Armenian National Committee Eastern Region and as a grandchild of Armenian genocide survivors. The United States historical record has many unambiguous entries regarding the events of 1915 that took place in the Ottoman Empire. On July 24, 1915, U.S. Consul in Hartford, Leslie Davis, reported, "It has been no secret that the plan was to destroy the Armenian race as a race. Everything was apparently planned months ago." U.S. Ambassador to the Ottoman Empire Henry Morgenthau Sr. wrote in his memoirs, "When the Turkish authorities gave the order for these deportations, they were merely giving the death warrant to a whole race. They understood this well, and in their conversations with me, they made no particular attempt to conceal this fact. I am confident that the whole history of the human race contains no such horrible episode as this. The great massacres and persecutions of the past seem almost insignificant when compared to the sufferings of the Armenians in 1915. We came together today to commemorate the Armenian Genocide, to look to the leadership in this great country to serve as an example for the rest of the world to follow. And yet, it is painful for any Armenian American to have to look back 35 years to find a sitting United States president who properly acknowledged the events of 1915. That last occurred in 1981 when President Ronald Reagan issued a statement, "Like the genocide of the Armenians before it, and the genocide of the Cambodians which followed it, like too many other such persecutions of too many other peoples, the lessons of the Holocaust must never be forgotten." On Friday morning, President Obama backtracked from his pledge to unequivocally acknowledge the Armenian Genocide for the 8th and final time as our president. He continues to hide behind the same words each time. I have consistently stated my own view of what occurred in 1915, and my view of that history has not changed. That is a far cry from the just and frank acknowledgement he promised as a candidate. This year, he spoke of mass atrocities against the Armenian peoples. No, President Obama, what happened to the Armenian people was genocide. You kowtowing to Turkish blackmail the past 8 years is the atrocity that adds insult to our injuries. We thank world leaders like Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Pope Francis, who have the courage to confront Turkish denial and speak about the truth of the events of 1915. We also thank New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo for declaring today as Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day in the state of New York. Turkey's insincerity does not end at a refusal to acknowledge the Armenian Genocide. The actions of Turkey and its close ally, Azerbaijan, continue to threaten Armenia's safety today. Turkey and Azerbaijan have maintained a crippling blockade against Armenia since 1984, when Turkey closed its borders in protest of the independence of the Armenian enclaves of Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijan's President Aliyev continues his warmongering ways, using his country's wealth of natural resources to fund his defense buildup as he threatens to solve the Karabakh question through force instead of diplomacy. In late March, Aliyev attended the White House Nuclear Summit and met with Vice President Biden and Secretary of State Kerry, who both failed to press him on the need for a lasting ceasefire, despite requests from more than 80 U.S. congressmen. He returned home emboldened. The latest ceasefire attempts at the beginning of April were an attempt to divert attention from his country's serious domestic issues. His forces waged widespread attacks along the lines of contact and conducted gross human rights violations against the civilian population of Artsakh, savagely mutilating the victims of their attacks. Our defense forces have repelled those attacks at great cost and inflicted far greater losses of life against the Azeri aggressors. Aliyev is like the schoolyard bully that will keep coming until he is proverbially punched in the nose. Recent events will serve to underscore the message to President Aliyev that the will of the Armenian people to defend their homeland is unbreakable. Sadly, the U.S. government refuses to place proper blame for these attacks, refusing to single out the aggressor. They ask both sides to respect the ceasefire and negotiate a peaceful settlement within the OSCE Minsk group's purview. There cannot be a lasting settlement in Artsakh until the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are given a seat at the negotiating table to determine their own fate. As we look around us, we have seen other Turkish affronts to history. There have been billboards displaying revisionist history in Boston, Chicago, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and here in New York, placed by Turkish groups attempting to deny their shameful history. Geico's sky typers have proven they are also for sale to genocide deniers. If only the Wall Street Journal had the same integrity as the New York Times, which refused to publish an ad denying the Armenian genocide, excuse me. The Turkish government recently expropriated 6,300 properties, including the Armenian Church of Suk-Giragos, Syrian and Chaldean churches, which is another step backwards for religious freedom in Turkey. In closing, we will continue to fight for justice for the Armenian nation. We will press for recognition for the Armenian genocide, the return of our historic lands to make the Armenian nation whole and sustainable again, and reparations for the crimes committed against our people. We need your help to continue this fight. As a grassroots advocacy organization, we are only as strong as our constituent base. Each and every one of you needs to get involved in this fight to serve as a voice of morality, as a voice for justice, and as an advocate for the Armenian cause. We will not rest until we have a united Armenia that is free from Turkish coercion. Thank you.